right, you got Jared Swilley from the Black Lips here, hot off the stage in San Francisco, California.
And I held you in my arms.
Well, I started being the voice of the band a long time, 25 years ago when I started this band, and I come from a long line of preachers. My father, my grandfather, great grandfather are all preachers, so I grew up on stage. So I figured it was my duty to keep talking. Well, 25 years ago, there was an itch I couldn't scratch, and it was called rock and roll. Like I told you, I grew up in the gospel church in Georgia, and so I grew up on stage singing. And not to say I wasn't called to the ministry, maybe I was, but my ministry was different. It was rock and roll. But my main influence growing up was I grew up in a gospel church, so I'd see my dad line up 100, 200 people in front of the stage and run down, hit them in the head. They'd all fall over. It was a Pentecostal church, so they called it getting drunk in the Holy Spirit, and people would freak out and start speaking in tongues. It was like a different language. And when I saw that as a kid, usually you'd think as a punk rocker, it'd be like, oh, I'm not into that. I was very much into religion, because if anyone could stir people like that, I'd never seen anything like that. And it was 10 a.m. every day, and these people weren't drinking alcohol or doing drugs, anything like that. It was just, they were singing about eternity. They were singing about their love for Jesus Christ and God. And I was like, if I could get 5% of that at a rock and roll show, I'd be happy. And I haven't seen it yet, because we're singing about cars and just girls, like dumb stuff. These people are singing about things that are like moves your soul.
If I ever see you again, get it on time, get it on time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 100%. And everybody that I was ever influenced by, like Little Richard, Johnny Cash, James Brown, all those guys grew up in Georgia in the same kind of church I grew up in. So like those were my biggest influences. And Elvis, they all came from the same Pentecostal church. Jerry Lee Lewis, all of them. And, they used to be conflicted about playing rock and roll. Like, am I doing wrong by God and all that? And, this is 2024. So I don't feel conflicted about that anymore. I believe God is everywhere, and I'm just bringing a message to everyone, and it's like a positive message. So I believe it can be interchangeable.
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Well, Meredith, with us, I don't know how it is for everyone else, but I can only speak for myself. Mine comes completely from the gut, and it comes from my soul. And we have never been very good at planning anything. It's all kind of worked out for us just based on gut instinct. And that's all you really need. Like everyone says, like, how do you start a band? How do you do this for the rest of your life? Well, I don't know. I just followed what I thought was the right thing to do. And that's what I did. And here I am now. And dang, I've had a real good life and a real good career so far. We may not be playing a stadium tonight. Who knows? We may be tomorrow. Well, no, we're playing Santa Cruz tomorrow. But, who knows what we'll be doing next year. Well, the season we're in right now, we've had a few lineups. Me and Cole have been since the beginning. Like, I met Cole in 7th grade and we started. But we got a real hellfire crew right now, and I'm pretty happy with them. We just finished making a record. Oakley, our drummer, has a farm up in upstate New York, and we record in his barn, and we all go live there like a family. And we just finished a record, and we're fixing to put it out. It's coming out May 5th of next year. That's Cinco de Mayo. It's a holiday down south, but it's also going to be our release date. So up until then, we're just going to be tooling around the world, just like rocking out like we always do. And hell, it's a great life. got a lot to be grateful for. So this is like just like a fun tour. The next one we're gonna be working. We're always working though. Well, we don't get psyched out. We're professionals. We're professional amateurs. There's not many people alive today that have been doing it as long as we have. I may not look that old, but it's because I started when I was 12. So we gained a lot of extra years from other people. So, I treat every show just the same. I would play tonight exactly how I'd play at the Super Bowl or in my friend Bobby's basement. It'd be the same. Just give it it's not 100%. Everyone can do 100%. We do 120%. So, and this one's a good one. Like it's just, every show. I mean, the stage is the stage anywhere you go. You just do your thing. Well, I was actually very influenced by the San Francisco scene very early on. When I was 15 years old, I was really into like the budget rock scene here. So when I was 15, I flew out here with a friend of mine that was older, and like the Bobby Teens were playing, and the Flakes, and I think the Mummies were playing, but all those bands, and I remember I showed up, and I flew all the way out here. It was my first time on an airplane, and I got to the club, and they're like, "It's 21 up." I was like, "You're kidding me." But after we like talked to them a while, I think you kind of like, we got pity points for, I think like the U.S. is a little more homogenized now, but back then you could really play the dumb card by being from Georgia. So we were like, we didn't. So they eventually let us in. So it was a big deal for me, like because like early on, like a lot of these San Francisco, the ripoffs too. There was a lot of like San Francisco bands we were really influenced by, and that was like really my first big rock and roll experience. Was like the Budget Rock showcase at the dang, I can't even remember the name of the club anymore, but it was a hell of a time. Oh, from San Francisco, Crime. I like them a lot. I'm not super into a lot of the hippie stuff, but I can respect that. I wasn't there, obviously. I wasn't alive, but that seemed like it was a good vibe. The countercultural element. San Francisco's cool, and you have beautiful architecture. Where I'm from, we don't have such beautiful architecture, so
Georgia's beautiful.
it's beautiful naturally, but we don't have beautiful buildings.
Okay.
They got burned down during the war, and we never really we just rebuilt strip malls. I don't even want to talk about that time. It was rough. It was bad for everybody. It just was a bummer, but then we all got back together. We toured Europe during the height of the pandemic, and it was maybe a mistake, but I'm glad we did it because I don't like being told what to do. So I've been through a lot of incarnations of rock and roll being popular and not being popular. So I'm also 40 years old now, so I don't even know what is in or what's out. Once you reach a certain age, you're just cool, and you don't care about what's cool anymore. And I think I've hit that mark.
If I